Hey guys, Rorius here. Today, we're starting the Half-Life 2 Episode 2 Developer Commentary playthrough. I know it's been a little while since we played the Episode 1 Developer Commentary, but hopefully you're still interested, hopefully you're still keen to see what they have to say. Whatever the case, let's begin. Yeah, so unlike Episode 1 and Half-Life 2, this starts quite differently. Yeah. We start in the destroyed train that was not destroyed, that we were in the previous episode. Let's listen to this node.
Welcome to Half-Life 2, Episode 2. We are at the midpoint in our trilogy of episodes, which will conclude in Episode 3. To listen to a commentary node, put your crosshairs over the floating commentary symbol and press your use key. To stop a commentary node, put your crosshair over the rotating node and press the use key again. Some commentary nodes may take control of the game in order to show something to you. In these cases, simply press your use key again to stop the commentary. Please let me know what you think after you've had a chance to play this, our latest installment in the ongoing adventures of Gordon Freeman. I can be reached at gaben@valvesoftware.com.
You still hadn't figured that one out yet.
I get about 10,000 emails each time we release a game, and while I can't respond to all of them, I do read all of them. Thanks, and have fun.
He hadn't yet realized the whole Gaben thing. No, so triggered. This is the middle point of our trilogy, he says. Alright, straight off the bat, another one.
Starting Episode 2 in the crashed train has several purposes. From a story point of view, it establishes continuity with the end of Episode 1.
Yeah.
But from a gameplay perspective, it allows players to reacquaint themselves with the basic movement controls in a safe, contained environment. Our earliest design had the player scrambling out of the wreck high above the canyon and forced them to make some precarious jumps to get to ground level.
Right.
After seeing most playtesters fall to their deaths numerous times in the first 5 minutes of gameplay, we optimized for perceived rather than actual danger.
Yeah. That would have been funny. I would have thought that would be really funny to allow the player to be killed right at the beginning of the game. Wouldn't have made for very fun gameplay for most players, but... Over here.
Oh, Gordon, thank God you're okay. Hold on a sec. I'll get you out of there.
Yeah, I've got the same setup as I had for Episode 1, where I'm toggling the subtitles on and off. Hopefully, I can do better than I did with Episode 1.
Stand back.
Never!
Here goes.
I've never tried to stand in front of her
I forgot
way.
what a kick this thing has. Here, you take the gravity gun. You're better with it than I am. When I couldn't find you, I thought... I know. I shouldn't have worried. Well, we should keep moving. I'm sure the Combine haven't forgotten about us.
Yeah.
I heard Vortigaunts a few minutes ago. Maybe they're still around. We've got a long way to go to find my dad. It'd be nice to have some extra help.
Hopefully the sound sounds a little bit better in this game. I know in Episode 1 and in areas in Half-Life 2, the voice work, the voice to general volume ratio was really poor. I had to keep boosting the audio whenever the people would talk, which is a very tedious job, especially when you're trying to weed out just the audio, just the character audio and not the rest of the world's audio. So fingers crossed it's a little better in this game. It sounded better with that first commentary node, but I'm not sure if it's gonna stay like that.
Oh my God. The Citadel. What the hell is happening?
This is the first of the very interesting series of events.
Oh! Portal storm!
Yeah.
Look! The bridge!
She doesn't need to say that for me because I already know to go and look. That took a lot of work. That animation of like the train collapsing. I know from hearing from the devs that took a lot of work.
The first days all over again.
Because it's
Don't get many more.
it's a mixture of animation and physics merged together. It's, super challenging. But oh, she's probably gonna comment on this now, maybe? I wanna listen to that node before we go. Is the node behind this? There was definitely a node here. Yeah, I thought so. Let's have a listen.
The destruction of this rail bridge was our first opportunity to showcase our new cinematic physics technology. We wanted to convey to the player the scale of the train wreck, and the delicate balance the damaged bridge was left in as a result. The structural deformation of the twisted metal was modeled with the help of surface-based spring networks, driven by particle systems. In this case, we actually passed a rail car through the bridge and solved the deformation dynamically. For the collapse, we used an offline large-scale rigid body simulation, a technology typically reserved for the visual effects industry. In this simulation we have about 750 moving parts, calculated with coarse convex hulls. These in turn drove a skeleton network to which the high-resolution geometry was skinned. Particles were then emitted from the transforming geometry and calculated in-game.
Right. I understood some of that. But a fair bit of that, even it just flies over my head. Because I've never really worked in proper animation stuff, so. Nevertheless, let's have a listen to this one.
Having established the super portal as a threat in the opening vista, we decided it would make a useful landmark as the player traveled toward White Forest.
Yeah.
In Half-Life 2 and Episode 1, we could count on the Citadel being visible in many of the maps, casting its shadow over the world.
Yeah.
The super portal plays the same role in Episode 2, anchoring the player in a world while providing them with visual updates on the developing threat.
Yeah.
The addition of beam effects and portal storm shockwaves help bring the portal to life and make it more than merely a static background element.
Yeah. I really like this effect. I really like the whole visual effect of the portal in this game. It's really cool.
For the ominous mass of clouds which swirl above the destroyed citadel, we devised a shader effect to give the impression of depth and complex turbulence.
Right, yeah.
The actual geometry rendered for this effect is a single flat polygon, but through a series of pixel shader effects, which composite several texture layers, we are able to achieve the impression of realistic churning clouds. In the offline pre-visualization work that we did to initially define this effect, we developed a very realistic simulation with more than 30 layers of clouds. With real-time shader techniques, we were able to achieve an equivalent look while maintaining an interactive frame rate.
Yeah. I was gonna say, to do those kind of things would just kill performance, especially in maps that are this size. You know, this part of Episode 2's thing was they made much more open, large-scale maps. So having something that detailed in the background of every single one, not feasible.
The view of the ruined yet still dangerous City 17 is a good example of a classic Half-Life vista. Vistas are sweeping scenes where many elements of design come together. This one reminds the player of what he's accomplished in Episode 1 while setting up the threat that will hang over the rest of Episode 2.
Yeah.
It establishes the mood with the stunning skybox and shader effects, shows off believable character responses, and also literally sets the episode into motion. When the player looks at the scene, a device called a look trigger sets off the portal storm, which causes the bridge to collapse, using Valve's new cinematic physics, which we'll be showcasing throughout the episode.
Yeah. Part of that cinematic physics was used in Left 4 Dead 2, I think? I believe it was used in that. They used the similar technology anyway. Alright, let's get moving. Turn subtitles back on. Yeah, I think once again we're stuck with just a gravity gun for a while.
I'm surprised if the rebels use this place.
So little of the screen is visible when I'm holding something like this. Where are we heading? Oh god, Alex is hopping down. Couldn't move past her. What have we here?
So I really don't think I had any.
Oh. Damn it, she started talking. This node was her. She was talking over herself.
So I really don't think I had any idea what I was getting into when I auditioned for the game, because I really had no clue what Half-Life was, what Steam was, or what Valve was about. But I did really have the feeling that it was something that was really heavy, since when I was in the waiting room, everybody that was sitting across from me just seemed like they were stars or recognizable faces. And then the first time that I sat down with the Valve team, they showed me some rough animations of Alex, and immediately I just couldn't keep my eyes off her. I mean, she actually looked like someone I could be related to, and that has never happened to me.
That's funny. Because what I find a little bit funny about that is that this model actually is a different person. They modeled this face for Alex off of a different person than the voice actor. So it genuinely isn't her, it's genuinely someone else. But she also still thinks like, oh my god, that could have been me. That could be, visually could be me. Oopsies. No one else down there? No other enemies? Oh dear. Okay, so Merle Dandridge is the voice actor for Alex, of course. Which node was that? That was 7. Cool. So I'll make sure, once again, try my best not to miss any nodes. If I do, I'll have to go back and get them for the, during editing. If I see, oh my god, I missed one, I'll just load the game up and quickly grab it. Before we go in there...
In this first part of the episode, we're restoring the player's connection to Alex by recalling the sort of collaborative activities you shared with her in episode 1, from combat to collaborative puzzle solving. Notice that as she works to restore power to the transmitter, she's careful not to steal the player's fun by doing it all herself. She doesn't actually solve the puzzle, although she sometimes thinks she has. This adds to her charm and helps her feel more human. Of course, the reason we're doing this is so that you will care when bad things happen to her.
I can read a tiny bit of this Russian. That's about as the length of my limit, the limit of my knowledge with Russian. Like this one down here is Letya, something like that. I can always get a close approximation of what these words are. I don't have a clue what they mean.
Okay, a communication center. Let's see if we can get out a message to my dad.
Oh, I should have listened to this one, because this is a long scene.
Dr. Kleiner and my dad are up north at an old missile base. I hope they're still using this frequency. They're trying to help launch a... Ah, here we go.
I quickly...
Damn.
Oh.
What now?
I forgot that wasn't the scene that I was thinking it was. We have to do this first.
If I were to... Let me see if I can get it working again.
I just quickly set up a little thing so I can remove the crosshair for certain scenes, just to make it more visually interesting. And, so you don't have this in the way all the time.
Yes. This could take a while.
It's so much nicer to look at a screen without a crosshair on it.
If you have any blinding insights into how to fix this, go for it.
I like that she very quickly knocks that down. We'll listen to this first.
This transmission scene was added fairly late in development, after hearing from playtesters that they weren't sure where they were going or why. Setting up the White Forest base as your goal right away was important in an episode with so many open, free-form areas where players might forget what they're supposed to be doing.
Right. Hopefully she didn't interrupt that too much. But, yeah, so what he was saying is, essentially...
You want to plug it in?
She's actually just telling me what to do now. I thought they said that she didn't do that. Whatever the case. No, it's funny because I actually did feel that same way about the direction, because, when you get out of the city at the end of episode 1, it's not immediately clear what it is where it is you're heading. I feel like they do mention something in episode 1, but I already don't remember if they actually mentioned where you're heading, where the citizens are heading, other than just outside of City 17 sort of thing.
Hey, you see that cord?
Yes.
You want to plug it in? Thanks. That did the trick. Now, to check in. White Forest. White Forest, this is Alex Vance. Do you read? White Forest, come in. White Forest, are you there?
Alex! My goodness, is that really you?
Yes, and Gordon too. We're okay. We made it out of City 17.
Alex, thank God. I can hardly believe it.
Don't worry, Dad. We're fine.
Yeah.
But something really strange is happening with the Citadel.
Oh yes, we've been monitoring the situation. The raw discharge of the meltdown has been focused into a coherent beam of portal energy.
It's the Combine. They're trying to open another gateway.
Yes.
No
what you're
shit.
seeing is the
It's the Combine.
super portal. If it attains full strength,
It'll be the 7-hour war all over again. Except this time we won't last 7 minutes.
My God. Gordon, what if that's why they were sending so much data from the Citadel? So that
data from the Citadel?
in the control
Yeah.
room, they were
They're not
feeding
aware of it
huge
yet.
volumes of data directly into the core destruction sequence.
Magnuson, did you hear that? I'll bet it's the Combine portal code.
Yes, I'm not deaf.
I downloaded the whole packet. They've been chasing us ever since.
Well, of course they have. You see, Kleiner, it's the linchpin of all of their plans.
Well, I can see that. I never said.
Somewhere in that sequence, they would have had to establish a connection with the far side. What you have there, young lady, is the specific contact code for the Combine overworld. Good God. If I'm right about this, and I have no reason to doubt myself, you are carrying the very code Dr. Mossman had hoped to recover. Now, how soon can you get here?
Well, we'll have to get our bearings, but we can definitely...
There is no time to waste. We'll need to step up the launch schedule. And now, as soon as you get here with the signature data, we'll encode the satellite and get the damn thing into orbit. Get here as quickly as you can, you two.
Dad? Dad! You're breaking up. Come in.
Ah.
Dad, are you there? Dad! Oh, no. They're still tracking us. We need to keep moving. Come on.
The stuff stays on there until the topmost piece finishes, so because the Combine thing was taking a while to finish off, it just stayed there. Okay. I had thought about taking Gnome with us, but I think I can't be bothered. Gnome is funny, and I'd love to bring him with us, but he is frustrating to take. I know that when I did it, there were many times where I accidentally did something which ended up, you know, making it so I had to load an old save and go all the way back. It's too bad you can't just break these boards with your gravity gun. You have to break these boards, and then this will break those boards. Another little physics slash animation sequence that sort of combines to make an interesting as thing here.
Count on you to find a way through.
It's her infatuation with you is just so clear.
What was that?
One of the hunters, yeah. I forgot that those guys are around this area. Alrighty, I am just gonna speed right ahead. Seeing as I know this game pretty well now. I keep interrupting her dialogue. Well, she keeps interrupting her own dialogue.
I'll keep watch out here.
Yeah, this is a pretty horrific scene, to be fair. Does she run through there, or no? She just waits? But in order to... Oh, there he is. They actually, I think they do the reveal of the hunter very well. Because you've seen him at the during the little scene, that little note. That little, whatever the data packet thing. You see it. If you keep crawling forward, you can almost like save her. Oh god. You got to see a hunter at the very briefly in that little recording. Yeah. Right off the bat, your like companion that you spent the whole of episode 1 with just dies. Portuguese expression of shock. I do love the expansion of the Vortigauns in this episode.
Alex, has come. Ah, the free man. I am pleased to see at least you are unharmed.
Well,
But the
took 10 damage.
Her condition is grave.
Oh. Yeah, this whole first half of the game, it's all about Alex. All about trying to save Alex.
Her will require more than I alone can conjure.
Yeah.
Let me summon my kin.
I love this. Because you hear similar noises while in Zen in the first game. So hearing them actually
My
use
kin will meet us at a sheltered location beneath
proper-
the surface. We must move her there quickly. I will
Hearing them use it in a
stabilize
proper
her.
context,
The
you know?
Freeman will provide us with protection.
Yeah, I will do. But first,
Let us hurry, Freeman. Help awaits us in the mines.
if you'll allow me. Firstly,
From the beginning of Episode 2's design, we intended for Alex to be gravely injured and fall into a coma. However, the timing and nature of her injury changed dramatically.
yeah.
In the earliest version, the player woke to find Alex already unconscious. We wanted the player to be unsure of what to do, but instead this turned out to be merely confusing. In the next iteration, Alex balanced precariously in the train car near the player,
That's
only
what they
to
showed in the
slip and fall
trailer.
as the train shifted. This
Yeah.
was unsatisfying because we have painted Alex as tough and agile.
Lead on!
Having her injured in a fall seemed arbitrary and impersonal. We kept trying to add a stronger emotional aspect to her injury, something that would give rise to anger and fear. Around this time, the hunters were coming online, and we were having trouble giving them a really powerful introductory moment. Solving both problems at the same time, we introduced the hunters as the cause of Alex's injury.
Yeah.
Creating the sound of the Vort's call was a refreshing break from scoring huge explosions or the bridge destruction.
Yeah.
We wanted something subtle that would communicate the Vort's general nature as well as its specific cry for help. Sometimes it can be difficult to process sounds while still giving an organic quality to the voice. To design a sound that contained a sense of the alien personality without just sounding like another animal call, we found a way to add and process overtones while subtly altering the phrasing of the pitch. The resulting sounds give the impression that the Vorts are in fact communicating among each other with a dynamic dialogue of calls as opposed to speech.
It sounded like that one just cut off a little bit at the end there. But yeah, no, the point he's made is incredibly... Well, it's interesting to me. I always find these kinds of things interesting. The sound development to create the Vortigaunt calls. It's a very interesting process. Wait, does that door just open now? God damn it. Not that we could have done anything even if we were able to get out, because we only have a gravity gun. Although the gravity gun is quite effective against the hunters, as far as I recall.
Her state is delicate.
Yeah. Yes. Very much so. Yeah, in this game they decided to give you the crowbar right off the bat. Yeah. But you have to use the gravity gun to get it. I quite like that. Quickly whip through here.
On, Freeman, if you are able.
I am able.
Take her to my care by another path.
Sure. I don't sound like I care very much, do I? But I am the voiceless, expressionless Gordon Freeman. Okay. So if this particular map isn't too long, we'll probably get to the end of this map, and then we will call that the first episode. The first episode of episode 2. I have found that a few of my titles for stuff, in the developer commentary series for these games, has been very confusing. Like, I usually use developer commentary part 1, part 2, part 3 sort of thing for the title of these videos. But then I also use the episode placement for just everything. Whenever I have a video about some game, it'll always be an episode of that game. Isn't that, yeah, I was gonna say, doesn't that guy normally run off and you can't actually hurt him? Yeah. Yeah, so like for the previous series, episode 1 of the episode 1 commentary series was like, developer commentary part 1, Half-Life 2 episode 1, episode 1. Because if you look at like the Portal 1 or Portal 2 series, playlists on my channel, you'll see how my numbering system works. Because I sometimes play games multiple ways, and so I have episodes just meaning that's... Episodes is general, parts is more specific, and I'll always have the name of the game in the title. I have a formula for it all. Do I hop down here? I do. Oh. Oh man, those guys take 5 shots. Get out of the way. Okay, gravity gun. Oh man, getting the stomping on all these guys was so hard. I remember that. I seem to recall missing one in one of my playthroughs, and it looks like it saves, you know, your progress on the pressing of those, you know, of the killing of those bug thingies, but it doesn't. It resets every time you start a new game. So, yeah. I got to like... Oh, how many is it? I'm just gonna check. Right, get some grub. 333. I'm pretty sure I missed like 4 of them or something the first time I did it. I had 329. And then when you start the new game and you start going through, it resets back down to 1. So you have to get all 333 again. And I was furious. Because I had no idea where I'd missed one, you know? You basically just have to start again. Because there's no way you can tell. Alright, let's listen to this.
In early tests, playtesters didn't realize that antlion grubs drop health nuggets, since they tended to pick up the nuggets by accident after squishing the grubs. In order to showcase the feature, we placed a grub on the far side of this webbing. When a player breaks the web, they squish the grub and send the nugget rolling.
Right.
Most players chase the nugget and naturally understand how to exploit grubs in the future.
Right, okay. Right, so they go rolling over. When you go to grab them. Not that I lost any health yet. I think I had before, but I'd already picked up health from the grubs.
The antlion grubs were initially created for Half-Life 2, to visually flesh out the life cycle of the antlions. We never found the right place for them in that game, but as we developed the antlion environments for Episode 2, they were an obvious choice for Resurrection. In addition to their role in the life cycle of the antlion, they provide an equally valuable service in these dark tunnels. Light.
Light source, yep.
As the grubs came to life, we made sure that killing them was more rewarding. In addition to the satisfying squish effects, we added the health nugget for ailing players. Soon, we found many players were compelled to squash every grub in the map. It's worth pointing out that grubs also play a role in our dynamic resupply system. The more injured you are, the more health they provide, which allows us to create a consistent level of challenge for players at differing skill levels.
Huh. I never realized that. So do they drop 2 nuggets sort of thing if you're on low health? Or like a bigger nugget that provides more health or something? That's interesting. I never realized that. It's weird. I've definitely done this developer commentary before, but I don't remember that being the case. Is this a really short map? No. Okay. It's just that we've already... Ow. We've already got all the nodes for this map. Ow. I hate the way these guys attack, because they're so freaking accurate all the time. They're such a frustrating enemy to deal with. They're cool though, I like them. They're kind of terrifying. They look a lot like what the Antlion King was going to be. I think it was a king, or was it a queen? Antlion Queen, whatever it was. There was an Antlion lead thing that was going to be in the first game, in a section that ended up getting cut. And this is kind of the resurrection of it, this section. There we go. Yeah, this section of the game, of Episode 2, yay, shotgun, it's basically the resurrection of the Antlion Cave system that was going to be in the first game. But it's been changed somewhat, and if you look at the concept art for the original Antlion King or Queen or whatever it is, they are quite different. Or it is quite different, I should say. Yeah, in this game they opted to just have another Antlion Guard character that, you know, just looks like, it looks a little bit like the drones. Or, no, what are they called? They're the white Antlions, whatever they're called. We go on a A crushing fall. Terrible. Just awful. Alrighty. Why do I feel like there's another achievement in this game that's something along the lines of... There's some other overarching achievement in this game that's really frustrating and difficult. Damn it. Try to avoid that one. There he is. Yeah, it seems like this that you can easily miss one of the grubs because there's walls just covered in them. So I used to stand down the bottom here somewhere and snipe them all with my pistol. Oh, frick you. Whee! Yeah, there's no more developer commentary nodes, so I should just sprint through this area as much as I can. Do we have to go under for here? Yeah, we do. Yeah, this is a nice little section. They could have had a little developer commentary here, because that's a little example, a little showcase that the Antlians, the normal kind of Antlians at least, they can't swim. They're highly vulnerable around watery areas. Yay! I was trying to get them to get eaten by the barnacles. No! Bastard! Shows me for trying to showcase stuff. I was also going to mention as soon as this episode started that this is the example, this is the showcase of the flashlight having a different battery. See right down at the bottom of the screen there next to my suit armor. There's a little battery, there's a little flashlight symbol. I can sprint and have my aux power, and it's completely independent from the flashlight. Yay! So yeah, Alex mentions about getting Dr. Kleiner to get you a new battery for your flashlight. And this is it, basically. You haven't been to Kleiner yet. Yeah, there we go, there we go. Now they're drowning. I think the other Antlians are smarter. And they don't... Oh no, never mind. They drown themselves just like the other ones. Yeah, because there isn't water on Zin. I don't know if they're native to Zin. I'm assuming that Zin... Nothing is native to Zin. I'm pretty sure I remember reading that. No animal is native to Zin. Zin is a middle grounds world where things come to... Well, things flee to Zin. Nothing belongs on Zin. Oh yeah. I feel like we're at level load. I can almost call the level load every single time. Alrighty, okay. This Vortal Coil. So not only... This Mortal Coil. This not only was the end of the episode, it's also the end of the first chapter, so that's perfect. Alrighty. So, we'll be picking this up, you know, fairly soon. I've sort of set up... I think currently there's now, as of this episode, as of, you know, Half-Life, this episode coming out today, there's only 3 series that are still ongoing on the channel. So, I'll be able to roll through a bunch of them a lot more quickly. So there'll be another one of these... There'll be a Half-Life 2 episode early next week, I think. Tuesday or... I don't remember what day it is. I have a schedule. It tells me stuff. I don't have to remember it because I have it written down on the schedule. But nevertheless, hopefully you'll enjoy the series, and I definitely will. I'm already having fun going back to... I miss the control scheme and the feeling of Half-Life 2. Half-Life 2 has a... Half-Life 2 and Portal 1 have this, like... This kind of feeling of movement that a lot of other games just don't have. That I miss it sometimes, you know? If you like what you saw, hit like. If you want to see more from me, then subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and as always,